Thank you so much. All right, today on the show, we're going to honor some extraordinary people, people who have literally saved lives. These heroes have given people a second chance in life. Now, later, Nicole was just 12 years old when she started running away. She was put into group home after group home, became involved in prostitution, began doing drugs, hanging with gang members. All of this, mind you, by the age of 16. Who straightened out her life? Well, she gives all the credit to one man. We will meet him in a moment, but let's talk to Nicole first. Nicole, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. You've had some experiences.
Yes, sir.
All right. Your mom and your dad. Tell us about your mom and your dad.
My biological parents are separated. My dad wasn't around until I was 17. I didn't find him until I was 17. My mom loves me dearly, but couldn't handle my behavior. My stepdad loves me dearly, but once again couldn't handle my behavior.
You were completely, totally out of control. You went from home to home to home. What kinds of things were you doing?
Running away, numerous assault charges, just in general hanging out with people who weren't positive for me, for myself or my family. So my parents didn't want me in there because I have 2 younger siblings. So having me in the home with 2 younger siblings just wasn't a good idea with my behavior as erratic as it was.
Do you have any idea? I mean, I know you've talked to a lot of people, a lot of counselors. Why you behave like that? Why did you rebel like that?
I think it was mostly because my mom got married and he wasn't my dad. Both of the children, my younger siblings, are his kids. He's not my biological dad, but I call him dad. That's my dad. That is a person that has been my dad for my life, and I give credit to him for sticking by me.
Nicole, you could be dead right now. Drugs? Gangs? Involved in prostitution?
Yes, sir.
Why do you suppose you're not dead?
Because God blessed me, and because somebody didn't give up on me.
You became homeless at the age of 16. Tell me about that.
When I got out of the juvenile court system, I found my biological father. I moved with him. That was a big mistake. Was up there 2 months, and he brought me back here, and I didn't have any options. My mom didn't want me because I was still being a bad kid, and I wasn't doing anything positive. So that's why I went to it. I went straight to the streets, moving place to place, didn't have a job, didn't finish my education, nothing.
Weren't you afraid? Isn't it dangerous?
Growing up in the juvenile court system, you learn that tough street, that hardcore attitude, and that's what I had. I wasn't scared of anything. I wasn't scared to die. I was not scared to die, and that was just, if I died, that was it.
You just didn't care. Exactly. Just didn't care. What turned you around?
Akeo Abdul Samad. I walked into Creative Visions one day, still homeless, with nothing, with the clothes on my back, and he took me in like I was one of his own.
What led you to this organization?
Being tired. I had people tell me this is where you can go to get help. I was just tired. I was tired of walking the streets. I was tired of selling my body to get a meal or a hamburger or a place to lay my head.
And what did he do? What did he say to you?
He told me that if you don't make a change, then you're going to be like this for the rest of your life. You're going to be like this no matter what. And
well, people have told you that before.
Yeah, but
why did it click here? Why did it click this time?
I was older, and I had actually been on the streets. I wasn't in like group homes and stuff, running away and coming back. I was on the streets. I wasn't sleeping for 3 or 4 days. I wasn't eating for a week at a time, and that's why.
Well, Akeo sounds like a remarkable man. Let's meet him. Akeo, come on out. Akeo, you didn't give up on her?
No, not at all. We have to reach a point where we don't give up on our young people, because young people need an opportunity to have time. It took a long time to get in that position, and it takes time to help them come out of that once they make that choice.
Tell us about your organization.
It's Creative Visions. Creative Visions was started, as a fact, it's called Creative Visions Human Development Institute. And it was started because young people needed an opportunity to change their lives before they got involved in the system.
And what made you want to do this?
Well, I wanted to do it because I've dealt with young people ever since I've been 17 years old. And what happened is a young woman named Mrs. Davis was killed. And she was killed in a gang crossfire. And they said, what can we do? Well, you know, what about the young people? And of course, everyone wanted to crack down on them. My key was, let's offer them resources. Let's give them a chance to change their own lives. And that's what we began to do.
Nicole had been told some of the things that you told her before. If you keep on doing this, you're going to end up in the cemetery, you're going to end up in jail. But with you, it clicked.
But
Why do you suppose?
I think it did with us because we put the responsibility on them. You know, we just provide the resources for them to make that choice. And even when we started off with our first employees of 6 active gang members. Always asked them to do is stop any illegal activity. Within that 2 months that they actually ran in and out of my house, you know, they had to
It's
take
your
the
own house?
responsibility. My own house. We didn't have the building then. And they would come in throughout early in the morning, and someone would call at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they would say, you know, oh, how's this sitting sound? You know, and it was relief because they weren't in jail, they weren't shooting each other. And in 2 months, we did a presentation in the building we're in now in front of some of the power brokers of the city.
Yeah, I heard about that. Tell me what happened.
It was really unique because they even surprised me. Once we got in, individuals came in. And
Gang members?
Gang members came in, and they were dressed in their gang attire.
With their gang stuff?
Chuck Johnson of Pioneer Hybrid, he was the CEO and president. He came in, he was dressed in jeans and a T-shirt because he didn't want to be condescending to the individuals or think that he sat on a pedestal. And we started the presentation, I was talking to them, and about 5 minutes, all of them got up and walked out, the gang members.
All the gang members?
Yeah. And I thought I'd said something wrong. I thought maybe they were intimidated. I didn't know. About 15 minutes later, they all walked back in suits. They were all in
Suits and ties?
Suits and ties. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking. Each one gave their presentation. You would have thought they were graduates from Harvard University. And all it took was someone to listen. All it took was someone not to give up on them, but to give them love, but tough love, and to be honest with them. And they began changing their own lives around.
Wow. Okay, how many kids' lives would you say you've turned around?
Oh,
How many kids' lives would you say you turned around?
We've probably about 3,000 to 4,000 lives that we have actually touched. You know, that we've been able to watch them change and watch them develop themselves. Because our key is we didn't want temporary behavioral change. We wanted permanent behavioral change. And to get permanent behavioral change, they have to make the decision. They decide to take their hat off their head, to pull their pants
I see you
up.
nodding, Nicole.
You got to have somebody who's there to tell you that you have this ultimatum. In juvenile court, you don't have that. You have them telling you this is what you do, and if you don't do that, then you're going to end up dead. Bottom line. There's no tough love. That's just how it is. It's life.
We'll take a break. After Akeo started the organization to help gang members, he paid the ultimate price when he lost his own son. When we come back, we'll meet the former gang member who shot and killed Akeo Jr. And you'll be shocked to hear how he has changed his life. Don't go away. We are back, and we honor today some very deserving people on this show. Akeo Abdul Samad is a community activist who's dedicated his entire life to helping young people involved in gang activity. He paid the ultimate price with his son's own life. Akeo, tell us what happened.
Well, my son was actually involved in a street organization, the Gangster Disciples, and he had actually decided to come out of that. And one Tuesday night, in fact, December 10th.
This is shortly before this happened.
Yes, it was.
He said, look, I want to get out of this gang.
Exactly.
I want to straighten out my life.
Exactly, and it was his decision. In fact, he helped me learn how to listen. And he was coming to work for me, and we were signing up the papers that night. I just had dinner, and I was waiting for him to come down the street because I knew that one thing, he thought it was God's gift to women, and sometimes I had to thump him on his head to button up his shirt. But a car drove up, and they jumped out and said, you need to go to the hospital, that Akeo's in the hospital. And at that time, you know, when you're a parent, you have those innate feelings that you knew something was wrong, and I felt he was dead then. And I got to the hospital, and when they realized I was the father, because they thought I came to help with all the young people, they realized I was a father. They wanted to take me in another room, but I went to see him, and when I walked in, you know, he was laying there on the gurney with a hole in his chest. So, you know, and of course it hurt, you know. And then when I got some things straight, I walked out to get a breath of air, and there was a young man that I know, Rodney, who was sitting in the police car, and I went to the police car and asked if I could talk to him, because I know he knew my son. And I sat in the car, and while I sat there and I was talking to Rodney.
At this point, you still hadn't known what happened?
I didn't know. No,
Okay.
I hadn't known what happened, and I wanted to ask Rodney, and he looked at me and he says, "How's little Akeo?" And I said, "Little Akeo's dead." And he started crying, and he was reaching at the same time I was reaching for him, and he said, "I didn't mean to kill him." And it was shocking.
Hold on. He said, "I didn't mean to kill him."
Exactly, exactly.
And your reaction, Akeo?
At that time, I hugged him. I hugged him. There wasn't, you know, too much more, you know, from it, because it was a shock, you know, totally to me. My knees became weak, and that's what happened.
And you knew they were friends?
I knew they were friends.
And so you believed Rodney when he said, "I didn't mean to kill him"?
I did believe him, you know, and I don't know if I believed him at that time, because it was just the death of my son was there. Here I was hugging the young man that shot him, and I had no understanding of why.
And Rodney, too, was involved in a gang?
Yes.
So what did you say to Rodney after that?
Well, Rodney and I really didn't talk until about 3 days later, when his mother called me and said, "Akeo, I don't want to lose my son, and they're going to kill him, and you're the only one that can stop them from killing him."
In fact, gang members came to you and said, "Akeo, if you want to take care of the guy who killed your son, we can take care of him."
Exactly.
That's when Rodney's mom called you and said, "Please save my son's life."
Exactly. In fact, they were getting telephone calls. They were getting threatening calls. And what really made me think about what was going on in China is that we had 6 skinheads that actually walked into Creative Visions building, and actually we thought there was going to be a problem. Those 6 skinheads looked and said, "You helped one of ours, and you don't remember, but you did. And if you want Rodney dead, all you have to do is nod your head." And a cold sweat broke out. And after that, I got the call and then began to listen to his mother. I talked to Rodney for a minute and went back. And then I called a press conference and had him bring Rodney and his mother up to the building. And at that time, I told Rodney, you know, "I forgive you, but I would not forgive if anyone would ever harm you." And I told the press then, I did not want this young man to die. I did not want this young man to go to prison. I want this young man to have a chance for a new life.
Wow. Wow. Did he turn his life around?
Rodney and I made a deal that as long as he kept his life and turned it around, I would wrap my arms around him no matter where he went. And actually, I took Rodney to my house right after the press conference.
You took him to your own home?
Yep, and he stayed with me while I was preparing for my son's funeral. And, you know, we exchanged, and I said, "As long as my arms are wrapped around you, you should be all right, but you have to keep your life straight." And till the date, I'm still under the impression he kept his life straight.
And Akeo, when was the last time you saw Rodney?
It's been a while. It's been over a year. So Rodney showed up at my house, I think, about a year and a half ago during Christmas and surprised me, and I saw him then. But I haven't seen him for some time now.
Well, Akeo, Rodney is here in our audience today. Rodney, where are you? Come stand up, please. Have a seat.
You got bigger, though.
Rodney, what do you want to say to Akeo?
Thank you. When the situation happened, I was lost too. I died with Akeo too. And I just want to say thank you, because you told me, you know, my son lives through you. So you have the burden of carrying my son's name on, or carrying my son's life on. Well, I have kept my part of the deal.
What are you doing now with your life, Rodney?
I'm in college. I'm about to graduate with my BA.
All right. And also, Rodney, you named your son Akeo.
I have my son. It's kind of weird. I don't know, but he has a birthmark right where Akeo was shot at, and that's my boy. So.
Akeo.
Yeah.
What'd you bring?
Well, I graduated from Santa Monica with my associate arts degree, and I want to give this to him, you know, because I wouldn't got there without that. I hadn't even graduated from high school. I was in the streets doing bad.
Going
like
nowhere
you said,
fast.
Nowhere. No college football. I had a good football career in high school, but wasn't gonna go nowhere with it. I was gonna sell dope and make that fast money, you know, and try to be the big time gang man, you know.
What else do you have?
Well, I was invited to 2 All-Star games because I'm pretty good in football, and, but I want to give him one of my plaques that I have that was given to me because I was inducted into the All-Star game, and I want him to have that because again, this would not be possible without him, you know. And here's a jersey that I would keep in my locker room to remind me of Akeo. You know, every time I go out there, I play for 2 people, not just one. And, you know, that's why, I mean, I wouldn't stop on the field. I mean, I had an extra heart, you know, and that's what he gave to me, his heart, you know, his life. And I still to say, that's my angel right there. And you're mine too. You know.
If you'd like some more information about Creative Visions, go to their website, LarryElderTV.com, our website.